Welcome to the Weird Gun Game Show. I'm your host, BubbaTV24, and today I'm bringing my top 10 favorite guns submitted by the community for last week. But before we begin, two things that I need to address, and please listen closely. Number one, there will be no submissions for this week. There will be no Weird Gun Game show next week, but I will still have a Weird Gun Game video on Tuesday as normal. I'm going to be giving an update on the state of the show, answering a couple of critiques and comments and stuff, and then I also want to take a little bit of a small break to look at the Halloween stuff because that's going to be new and coming out at the same time. And second, number two, and this is the most important one, so please listen closely. Let's talk about something serious. I'm gonna ditch my little TV persona that I do for a moment, and let's just have a real heart-to-heart here, because I see some people getting upset with me in the comments. So some people are upset because I haven't chosen their builds after they've submitted them multiple times. And let me just say this. I have 187 hours in Weird Gun Game alone. I have made maybe around 30 videos at this time on just this game itself, with each one being in the 20 to 35 minute range. They all showcase builds that you all have sent me, and I do really appreciate it. However, with that much content, there is a very high chance that if you send me a build and your comment is, quote, "This gun is a one-shot weapon that can get 100 kills in a single game," I've probably seen that build before in some form or fashion. When I make the lists every week, I collect every single build for 24 hours after the video goes live, and I test all of them. It takes me hours to do this, and that's before I even record anything for the video. I've had different people submit variations of the same exact build multiple times in the same week. The reason I even started the Weird Gun Game show is because there were huge amounts of people submitting the same exact build, whether it's the SKS/Dragunov and Honk barrel build, the Deagle or 1911 and Honk barrel build, or the Nambu with Vector and PPSH parts build. The show is supposed to be a filter to bring some new things to the front. I did a video already that showed off pretty much the same two SMG and shotgun builds for 15 builds, 10 to 15 builds, and it sucked. It was a bad video. And that's when I realized I needed to make a change. People have seen those builds before, and I want to bring out the weird in Weird Gun Game. So if you've submitted your build multiple times and it hasn't made it into a video, I don't hate you. I don't dislike you or anything along those lines. It just means that the build didn't really excite me or resonate with me in the same way that some others do. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you can try and submit your build again if you really want to, or make something else that might be a little more unique and weird and try again. Rule number 3 for submissions has always been the most important rule. Guns that are weird and fun are the ones that will almost always get into the top 10, sometimes even if they are utter trash. Remember, we're all here to have fun, and it is a competition at the end of the day. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. But don't give up. There's always a chance to get featured, even if that chance is pretty low. I have to sift through anywhere between 60 to 80 builds a week and try to find the weirdest of the group. Also, if I put a heart on your build or your comment of your build, it doesn't mean that I will use the build. It just means that I saw the comment and put the build onto my list. Because when I heart the comment, it gives you a notification that lets you know that I've seen it. But thank you for listening. I'm done yapping. Let's get into the builds with number 10. Our number 10 build reminds me of at 4XT0NN's mom, because they've made a gun lovingly called the Double Ds. That's right, we're starting out spicy. The build is the barrel, Deagle, core, Deagle, sight, Deagle, magazine, circuit judge, grip, pistol. You're gonna need some extra support to handle those, Bubba. Our number 10 here is really, let's be honest, just a deagle. And the only reason I even put it in here was to make that terrible, terrible joke at the beginning. That's why it's here. But having used it a little bit, it's actually not the worst thing in the world. Here are the stats here on the right, and let's get into it. So these double deagles are actually kind of interesting because, well, let's be realistic. Only one of the guns shoots, but it is there for the look, right? And as always, we're here to talk about the pros and the cons, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first pro of this gun is that, well, it's 2 gold Desert Eagles. Now, you may not have gold, but it can be whatever color you want. So, you know, you have 2 Desert Eagles put together that, you know, let's be real. I'm not, like I said, I'm not shooting 2 shots out of the Desert Eagle. Actually, I am shooting 2 shots out of the Desert Eagle because of the shotgun mag that's in it. So it is using the Circuit Judge mag, and that is going to give you some shotgun damage outputs there. But as you can see, a headshot does 30 damage, and of course, because it's got 2 pellets, you're going to do 60 damage in 1 shot if you hit a headshot. So it's actually got some fairly decent damage, especially if you're within your range. It has a fairly decent reload speed, which if I can hit my shots, as you can see, you know, really quick. Pretty nice, actually. Where are you going? Get out of here. Come here. And it does also have a little bit of a movement buff, as in like very, very little in terms of movement buff. So take that how you might. But the one big con really is that you're looking at a gun that only holds 5 shots. So there is a very high damage potential, and even at kind of range, if I can even hit anybody here, let's see if I can hit anybody. You're gonna be doing, well, the range isn't great. So, you know, even here I'm hitting 20, which isn't bad at all. If I can hit it, you know, maybe you might want to put a sight on it that's not irons if you are doing this, which you might be, you might not be, I don't know. 20 damage per shot, pretty decent actually. The fire rate's also relatively low because of that sort of Desert Eagle whatever. You just got to make sure that somebody doesn't have a faster gun than you, because that sucks, but that's okay. It's a secondary, so you're going to be pulling this thing out as like a last resort anyway. You're not doing this because this is a primary, let's be real. And you're probably not going to be using this in the same way that I am, so, you know, it is what it is. But it is funny, it is enjoyable, and I can't really say much more than that. So, with that being said, let's take your mom back to the studio. Number 9. Number 9 is the first of a few paintball builds this week from @mapping69. I'm going to retire the paintball core for a few weeks after this episode. The build is barrel, AS Val, core, paintball, grip, pistol, mag, P90, stock, circuit judge, sight, red dot. Map out the crime scene for us, Bubba. Number 9 here is, well, I actually don't know how this is supposed to look, but I made a gun that is awful, and that's okay with me, but it is another paintball gun build. Here are the stats here on the right. I have heard that the paintball gun might be getting a nerf here soon, so if you have the paintball and you want to use it, maybe, quite possibly, use it now before they get rid of it. Not before they get rid of it, but use it now before it possibly gets a pretty hefty nerf if it already hasn't. So that's the thing. All right, pros for this gun are that it is relatively strong, and as you can see, it has a pretty fast reload. Damage is 23 per shot, which pretty good. You get a headshot in there. Let me get that back. 35, so that's pretty nice as well. The cons for this gun are the damage fall off, so how much damage that you lose at range, which can be pretty rough. I think if I remember looking at the stats, it was like, what, 14 or something at range, at like outside of its range, which kind of sucks, no lie, but it is what it is. And then it also has a bit of a slower rate of fire in comparison. If we go and look at the stats there, we can definitely see that the fire rate is around 600. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also kind of in the middle there. And as you can see, the damage fall off once you hit this number is 14. So that kind of sucks, but the recoil is very manageable. It's a very usable gun, and this reload is so daggone fast that it's crazy. Now, I'm not really noticing much in terms of, let's say, spread or anything like that, because I'm been kind of treating it like an SMG, and it's been working for me in that regard. Although I would say it is a bit of a slower SMG. You wouldn't be using this up against something that's got like a 1200 RPM that literally shoots twice as fast as this, but it's a pretty good, solid build. The other con, of course, being that you have to have the paintball core, which I don't believe is available at this time anymore. So that is a bit of a bummer in terms of that kind of thing, but yeah, other than that, it's a fairly good, solid build if you have the core and you want to build it out yourself. And with that being said, let's take it back to the studio. Number 8 is the someone of guns. Hey, who's a famous cyclist? Google, okay, yeah, it's, Lance Armstrong. Yeah, Lance Armstrong. Number 8 is the Lance Armstrong of guns from at IGN Saving Wolf 6724. The build is barrel M1911, core, bike, magazine, M1 carbine, grip, circuit judge, stock, M1897 trench shotgun, sight, any. Something, steroids, Bubba. All right, here at number 8, we have a bike build. Now, I don't really show the bike off too often because it's not really a core that I'm a big fan of, but here are the stats here. Let's get into it. This thing is actually really fun to use, and I found it to be pretty good. It has a 2-shot potential, so if you just hit somebody twice, they're dead. And if you hit him in the head, I mean, yeah, even if you hit him in the head, it's still 2-shot because it's 75 damage to the head, 50 shot to the body in the damage range, and the recoil, you know, recoil is actually fairly usable. This also has a very slight movement buff as well. The cons, it has a slower rate of fire, and the visual recoil, while the recoil itself is manageable, the visual recoil is also pretty bouncy. Now, the other big problem with this, of course, is the magazine size. You only get 15 shots, so you do need to make sure that they count. And since it has a slower rate of fire, if you do not get those shots and land those shots, you could be hard punished for missing any bullet. And that's usually what happens with slower fire rate guns, is that usually they're really strong, but if you miss a shot, you are easily punished. And that is a big problem with those weapons in general. But this gun, like I said, that 2-shot potential is insane. You could also argue that one of the other problems with this gun really is just how much space it takes up on your screen. Like, this literally takes up probably 45%, if not 50% of my screen when I'm ADS because of my arms and then the gun itself. So maybe you can shrink down some parts, other parts, that kind of thing. But quite honestly, that probably still wouldn't fix anything, all things considered, since the gun itself is so big. Maybe if you put the sight farther out, maybe out farther on the barrel, then it would probably something that you could see farther down the gun. But I don't really know. I'm surprised by this one. So yeah, let's head back to the studio. Number 7 comes straight out of Black Ops 3 from at Vanderleemos Jr. Sorry, 8634. I messed that one up. This Dracon build keeps enemies in their place. The build is core, paintball, barrel, STG 44, grip, Tommy, stock, snake. Yes. Mag is horizontal, sight, FG 42, scope version. Drop a nuke on them, Bubba. All right, our number 7 is based off of a gun from the COD series. I think it's a made-up gun from maybe Black Ops 3, I think is what it is, called the Dratcon or something along those lines. Didn't play BO3. That was not one of the ones that I played, but this one is based off of that gun, and I tried to mimic it as closely as possible, although this magazine is huge. Here are the stats on the side. It is also a paintball gun as well. That was their own personal choice. Even though the gun in BO3 was semi-automatic, this one is fully auto. I also painted it to try and be as close as I could get to the original Dracon build from the game. I had a picture that I looked up online, some wood furniture on it, that kind of thing, and it's actually pretty decent build, but it's also the paintball gun again, so like, you know, that's a thing. The paintball gun may be one of those things where I might have to retire submissions on that one for a little while because so many people are bringing it in. But once again, that is the biggest con with this gun, is that you do need the paintball gun. If you don't have it, you're in trouble. So let's talk about the pros. It has some okay damage, it has some okay range. Once again, paintball gun. The reload is also really good because, you know, paintball gun. This is the horizontal mag, so, you know, pretty good for that as well. Oh gosh, it has very low recoil because, well, let me just say it with me, everybody. Paintball gun. I do like the use of the FG42 sight. It was actually specifies to use the scope variant of the FG42, which I actually kind of like. It's pretty clean, really. But okay, great reload, very low recoil. The cons, this one has a little bit of a slower rate of fire, and the same thing I also said last time with the damage drop off there, that once you're outside the range, you're dropping down to what, like 14, something along those lines. So that is the thing that exists. It's part of the paintball gun core, and also, of course, you need the paintball gun. So that is a bit of an issue. If you don't have it, then, well, I'm sorry, this guy's gonna smoke me because I can't hit any of my shots. Come on, there he is. There we go. Get behind a wall there. But honestly, you know, just like with all the other paintball guns, pretty darn solid, man. If you enjoy a more fully auto look for your BO3 guns, then maybe this one is for you if you're a BO3 enthusiast. And with that, heading back to you guys. Ooh, can't let him live. Can't let him live in the studio. Number 6. Number 6 brings us both a pizza cutter and a dinner plate from At Limit Operations. The build is barrel Negev, stock Auto 5, grip M1 Garand, core Shot, mag DP27, sight red dot. I don't have anything to say, so watch Brandon Herrera shoot one of these guns in real life with pizza on top of it, bubba. Limit Operations at number 6 has given us a build called the Paulson Battle Machine Gun, also known as the Peanut Butter Pizza Cutter. So that's a thing. There is a whole bit of lore surrounding it that if you find the comment, go ahead and take a read of it because it's pretty funny. But it's we're getting some DP27 and Shao love here. Here are the numbers here on the right. Let's get into it. First and foremost, one of the reasons I chose this is because the Shao is one of the guns that I actually, do kind of like, and I kind of wish that there were some more builds with it in mind because I don't think it gets enough builds. And I do agree, got a comment saying that they think in general that the LMGs in this game don't really get the love that they deserve. They're underpowered, stuff like that, which kind of sucks. And I do actually kind of agree with that. This build's pretty good. It has some really good damage. The range on that is pretty good too. The reload is relatively quick. It's only just kind of okay. It's not the fastest reload ever. And you get a little bit of a health buff, like a slight health buff, I think maybe 12%. So it's an okay health buff, right? Now the cons are the fire rate. This thing is slow. It shoots very slow. And you do get a movement speed nerf. And one of the other problems is the spread at range. So once you get outside of your sort of range there, you might not hit things because the bullets might just spread out all over the place. It did say that the sights were to choose anything that's sort of historically accurate, I guess. I did choose the FC200SH sights because I think they're the cleanest iron sights, really. You could use like a red dot or something and still be pretty darn effective. So yeah, really enjoy this one for being a slower build. A little LMG Shao love, which we don't see enough of in this game, I don't think. And with that being said, let's take it back to the studio. Number 5. Number 5 asks the question, do you like shotguns with the side of shotguns? Well, at MattHC9533 has the answer for you. It's yes. The answer is yes. Anyway, the build is barrel sight, grip, the Chief, core EG200, mag, pastel, sight, spyglass. Tear them down, bubba. Our next build here is a one-shot shotgun secondary that you can pair if you have a one-shot shotgun primary. So you can double shotty if you really want to. Here are the stats here on the side. let's hop in and try it out here. This is an interesting gun because you have the one shot of capability, as you can clearly see. I think the gun is actually meant to be used in hip fire, so don't recommend aiming down the sight unless you really want to for whatever reason. But let's be real, if you are shooting this at a range where the sight is like comfortable to use, you're probably too far away. However, with that being said, the damage on this is really good, and because of that, this will do some considerable amount of damage even at range. It has an okay range for a shotgun secondary. It also has a fast reload, and that is one of the pros. The cons: it has a movement nerf that is, you know, not great, but it's okay. The other thing is the spread at range. So if you're really far away, like if you're shooting at this guy, I hit him mostly luck. I'm just gonna say that. I hit that guy through mostly luck. The spread on this at range is not great at all. You're most likely going to hit around the person unless you get that sort of lucky shot where it does, you know, shoot straight and hit them. That doesn't happen all the time, so don't bank on that. Like that right there, you can see I just one-shot this dude at this range with this shotgun. So the reason you use the spyglass is to get more range out of the shotgun. So this does extend the range a bit. So that's why you use it. I chose this because I really had a great time with this. Like a really fun shotgun hipfire build that just one-shots and does stuff like that. And it's just really kind of dumb fun. Let's see if I can hit this guy. Nope. Like I said, spread at range. Stop moving. There we go. Still got him. But yeah, pretty good overall. But with that being said, let's head back to the studio. Number 4. Number 4 from @CharlesBatcell answers the age-old question: when will we get the AA-12 in this game? Please, devs. The build is Core, Browning Auto 5, Barrel, M870 MCS, Mag, Scar Drum, Grip, AKM, Sight, AKM, Stock, M16. Get your earplugs, Bubba. Our number 4 build here is basically a mini AA-12. At this point, they just need to put the AA-12 in the game. I think the problem they'll have is balancing it. They'll probably make it super weak because the gun is just crazy, but everybody wants an AA-12 at this point. So this is AA-12 at home. So here are the stats on the side. Now the pros of this gun are that it has a fairly decent fire rate. It is able to shoot relatively fast. That is a benefit of having the Auto 5 core. And the damage is pretty good, actually. You know, if you're within range, you'll be able to one-tap somebody if you hit all your shots. If not, a second shot that follows up is going to be pretty darn fast. And that will most likely kill the enemy if you don't miss all the pellets in that as well. So yeah, pretty darn good AA-12 style build. On top of that, another big benefit is that the reload is incredibly fast. So yeah, you're going to be moving pretty well here. And of course, if you pair this with like a secondary that has a really good movement speed bonus, then you yourself will get a pretty good movement speed bonus, and you know how that is. So that's all really good. It also has a really large magazine, so we have 71 shots here. If you can't kill somebody in 71 shots, well, I got bad news for you. You might be, I don't know, you might be in trouble there with that one. So that's a thing. Now, the cons are the range. As always with shotguns, if you are not within the ideal range of the gun, you might as well be farting glitter in their face. That is just how it works with these guns. You are literally hitting them for 0 damage at range. It's just the nature of the shotgun game. Also, because we don't have like slugs and stuff like that, we don't have ammo types in this game, so we can't like just fill this full of flechette rounds or slugs or whatever and turn this into whatever we want. And the other con is that it is unfortunately not the real AA-12. How are you still alive? Thank you. So one day, guys, we will get the old AA-12. Today, unfortunately, is not that day. But you know what day it is? It is the day we head back to the studio to talk to the other Bubba. Number 3. Number 3 from @AverageAsian001 is based on a gun from a movie/show that they like called The Day of the Jackal. I've never seen it, so watch at your own risk. The build is core, Winchester, stock, Sten gun, sight, spyglass, barrel, Scar H, mag, screwdriver, grip, Sten gun. I hope this gun doesn't become a crutch, Bubba. Get it? Because the gun was a crutch. Yeah, all right, okay, fine. I'll see my way out. Our next build here is from a movie called The Day of the Jackal, or I think it's also a TV show called The Day of the Jackal. The movie is very old, and I have seen neither of them. I'd never even heard of it, but Average Asian has, and they thought that this was really cool, inspired by the gun in that movie/show. Here are the stats here. This is a sniper build that is, well, in the show/movie/whatever, I believe in the movie, it is based off of a gun that the main character, one of the characters, I actually don't know if it's the main character or not, they use this weapon because it is literally hidden inside of one of their crutches. So they have like a crutch or something that they can then assemble into this gun. And it is kind of wild looking. You can go and look up a picture of this on the internet. I'll put a picture here in the video itself so you can see it for yourself. But yeah, it's basically a Winchester in the game anyway, this build that has one-shot potential with the screwdriver, and then the rest is built to look like that gun from the show/movie. And yeah, it's pretty good. It has some pros and cons though, of course. So one of the pros is that it is from a piece of media. So this is, if you're trying to remake something, that's probably going to help you get on the list of top 10s, hint, hint, especially if it's something that's like from nerd culture. But this is something that they found to be very interesting themselves. They're really into this right now, and they want to make it in the game, which I think is pretty cool. The other pro is that it is the one-shot capability. It has 120 damage in its range. Now, I don't really remember what the range was. You can rewind and look at the stats there, but it seems to be pretty good. And if you get a headshot, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, as you are probably seeing, the cons are that it is a lengthy reload because of that horrible screwdriver. Look at this. Gotta love it. Holy crap. Take forever. There we go. We're ready to go. Boom. 176 to the head at that range, which is pretty nice. But of course, yeah, that's a thing. They did say that in either the whatever they were watching that this is from, the gun can only shoot like 6 or 7 rounds, but you still won't be able to shoot 7 rounds in the game before you die. Mostly probably because of that reload speed, which, God bless, man. So make sure you hit what you're shooting at, unlike me, which seems to be what I'm missing. The other con is that there is a slight movement nerf, and that is a thing as well. So play your corners, play your stuff smartly, that sort of thing, and this gun will actually work out pretty well. And don't take any... You're not going to be going into a fight with this thing that's like... what I'm trying to do here, which is a fast snipe, sort of quick snipe thing. You're not going to be doing that because of that reload. So that's a thing. Keep that in mind. Keep yourself strapped with a good secondary at all time. You can use that to make up for your lack of whatever. So with that being said, let's head back. Well, let me get one more kill. I'm seeing somebody here who is just ripe for the taking. Boom. Let's go back to the studio. Number 2 from @Herrera, the emo cat, celebrates the best number 2 sidekick in gaming history. Besides Luigi, Dom, Cortana, okay, whatever, you get the point. It's the Arbiter from Halo. We have a carbine build here with barrel M1891, core, the automat, mag, PP19 Bison, grip, Hell Trooper 23, stock is Snake Sniper or the M2000, sight, Hell Trooper 23. Seal their fates, Bubba. Herrera, the emo cat, has brought us another Halo build. I am very much honored to have been knighted the Arbiter by Herrera, the emo cat, and I love Halo, and they love Halo as well. And one of the guns that Halo has for the Covenant is called the Carbine. Now, this is as close as I can get to painting this and making this look like the Carbine. The Covenant weapons are all very rounded and circular. I'll show you a picture. Here are the stats here. This is an automat build. I really like it though. It is fun. Of course, I always like the automat, and I tried to do my best to camo color the gun to be as close as I could possibly make it to the carbine. Now, there are, you can't go through and color every individual little piece of the gun without hitting huge parts of it as well. So like if I were to go and color the barrel, then the whole barrel down the entire length of the gun would be, well, what you're seeing now. And so you can't get like super fine, intricate details, but I did try to add in a little bit of the green lighting that the Covenant have on their carbine and that sort of thing. Now, let's talk about pros and cons. Pros, it's freaking Halo. Also, not only is Master Chief awesome, but Arbiter is one of the better characters as well from the series, because the Arbiter just is awesome. One of the best characters out there. There is good damage here on this gun because it is the automat. The automat does pump out quite a lot of decent damage, but if you can hit your shot. So about 30 from this range, which means that a headshot's going to be doing a lot. You're also going to have a fairly decent reload as well. It's just okay. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's, serviceable. It works pretty well. Let's go ahead and take this guy out. You better run. You better run. Yeah, you better run. Don't you dare come after me. Now the cons. It's the automat. So one of the cons for the automat, the biggest con, well, two biggest cons for the automat, come down to the rate of fire, which is relatively slow. There is a little bit of a movement nerf to this build, and the biggest thing of all is the recoil. So let me show you what I mean. We're gonna do this, and this is my hand off of the table with, never mind, with the mouse, so I can show you. But if we're here, look at this bad boy. It is rough, and especially if I'm at range, I am looking here after the first few shots, so that's rough. You are really, really trying to get this sort of stabilized thing going first, and I highly recommend that if you are using this and you start shooting at a group of people, do not stop shooting, because getting to the point, well, let's talk a little bit about recoil real quick and how Weird Gun Game handles it. If you don't know, the way that recoil works in this game, oh, I'm getting pushed by some peeps because they really want me dead. Oh my gosh, they want me dead so much. Recoil in this game is pretty simple to understand, but it can be hard to control. So the way it works is pretty much every single weapon has vertical recoil of some kind, like this, but it only goes up to a certain point. So if I start down here and I hold shoot, it'll stop here and only ever shoot there once I shoot a certain number of bullets. And it'll stay the same height no matter what once I hit a certain number of bullets shot. If I let go and then shoot again, then the recoil resets and it can keep climbing or whatever until you hit that certain number of shots. So that's how recoil works in here. Vertical is pretty harsh. You need to take that into consideration when you see large groups of people. So instead of shooting burst, just hold down fire so that way you can get past the recoil and then just shoot into them like crazy. With that being said, head back to you in the studio. Number one. Our number one will make you say cheese and then add about 30 layers of Instagram filters on top of your ugly face to try and smooth it out some. Thanks at Mutant McCann. Behold the camera gun. The build is core, paintball, barrel, Lewis, stock, P90, grip, auto 5, sight, Kodak, mag, PP19. That lens alone is worth about 20K, so don't drop it, Bubba. Number one is actually a gun that gives me a little bit of arachnophobia or something. This is a giant camera. So as you can see, I'm using the camera here as the thing, and I'm gonna put that in there. These are the stats here. Let's head into it. I actually really like this because of how dumb it is, and this is why it's number one. It's so stupid, but I love it. So here's the thing about this gun and why it's actually kind of fun. You can't see anything out of it. Shooting, as you can see, the camera is the sight, but look where the camera is. It's in the back of the gun. The whole point of this is to look like one gigantic camera lens. However, it actually has some pretty decent hip fire. So if you're gonna use this, just hip fire it. Maybe not at this range, you'll get kind of lucky, but just hip fire it, you'll get some kills. But if I were to ADS and look down sights, this is what I see. And this is giving me a face hugger from Aliens vibes, because all I see are spider legs, and I hate that. And it looks like it's about to eat my face, and I hate that even more. So yeah, while it's cool and it looks like a camera, it also looks like it's going to put an alien baby in my stomach, and then I'm going to give birth to it a little bit later, and it's going to pop out of my chest and kill me. No thank you on that. But let's talk about the pros and the cons. Let's hop into some action here while we do that. The pros are that this is a giant camera. It's pretty, you know, a couple videos ago we talked about fire hydrants, and it's just like, okay. And then we had a bazooka that was basically a trash can bazooka that used the blunderbuss and this same barrel. Now we have a camera. Now we have a giant angry camera, which is kind of funny. It does have decent damage, like I said, within its range. So if you are within the gun's range, you actually have some pretty decent damage. Now, hitting people's a different story. It has a relatively quick reload. As you can see here, it does use the paintball core. So that is the thing you need to take into account. So if you don't have the paintball core, is what it is. You're gonna have to remember that. But as you can see, it just, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm just shooting into people. It does have lower recoil because it is that paintball core. If we kind of do this, you can see how it's constructed here. Now, the magazine is pretty decent because it's got 64 rounds, 4-second reload. So it is, you know, whatever. The cons, there is a movement speed nerf to this gun. So you are going to be losing some movement speed. And of course, you can't see anything. So like I said, you'll be hip firing at range and hoping to hit anything. You do have 60 some odd shots, so you can just shoot for quite a long while before you need to reload. But yeah, you're not gonna see anything. And actually the challenge with this gun is ADSing and actually getting a kill with it. So if I could just, maybe I can, maybe I can't. But yeah, if you really want an extreme challenge, ADS and try to get a kill, which if I do this, then maybe I can't. There we go. So you might have to line up your shots beforehand. That's a thing. Lower rate of fire is also something that will affect you. So it is a little bit slower, but usable. Not really seeing much in the way of spread. So if we come down here, hipfire spread is 3.1 degrees. So for hipfire, it's actually not terrible, especially if you're closer. And ADS is 0.2 degrees, which you're never going to use. So that's a thing. But I actually really like this a lot. I think it's just, I think it fits the bill for goofy, and it works out for it pretty well. And it's fun to use at the same time. So I think that fits the criteria, and in my opinion is well-deserved #1. So with that being said, I'll send you guys back to the studio. Thank you once again for watching another Weird Gun Game show. Remember, build submissions are closed for now. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.